Nearly 200 countries will gather in Dubai for the COP28 climate summit. Around 70,000 delegates are expected to attend the summit. But what's really on the table? First Sports Managing Editor Palki Sharma reports from Dubai.
Which is the most important building in the world? You would think it's the White House or the Kremlin or the Indian Parliament, but you would be wrong. As of this week, the most important building in the world is the one that is right behind me, the Dubai Expo Center. In just a few hours from now, thousands of delegates from across the world will descend on this building. Hundreds are already pouring in. These are world leaders, religious leaders, activists, corporate bigwigs. And what is their job? To save the planet, to strike unanimous agreements on how to save the world. Dubai as a city is extra, and the Dubai City Expo all the more. Its tech-savvy halls are ready to host the most important summit of its times, the COP28. COP stands for Conference of the Parties. It includes every member of the United Nations Climate Framework established in 1992. And 28? Well, that's the number of summits. Last year's summit in Egypt was COP27, so this year's summit is COP28. The vibe here, as they say, is mixed. The young Gen Z activists look optimistic, but the veteran bureaucrats look more circumspect. They've been on this rodeo before. They know what happens here is all about political will. So who's attending this time? Well, it's easier to say who's not. US President Joe Biden is not coming. Neither is Chinese President Xi Jinping. Both leaders are sending their climate envoys instead. And it's a very poor message to the world. The US and China are the two biggest polluters on this planet, but their presidents are a no-show. Tells you how much significance they attach to this summit. Does that mean the summit is doomed for failure? Maybe not. Some 70,000 delegates are expected to attend COP28. They will come from 200 plus countries and regions. It's likely to be the most attended COP in the summit's history. The one in Glasgow, for example, had just 38,000 participants. Dubai is hosting nearly twice that number. The idea is to bring in as many voices as possible. Of course, the downside is the carbon footprint. What message does it send when thousands of people fly in to attend a climate summit on cutting emissions? It's counterproductive at best, hypocrisy at worst. But the attendance is not the headline here. That would be the negotiations. The summit will run from November 30th to December 12th. But don't be surprised if the talks are extended. In Egypt last year, the negotiations ran for 2 extra days. Chances are we could see a repeat. But what exactly will be up for discussion? Well, COP28 is about 2 major issues. The first is the Global Stocktake. Think of it as a routine assessment program. In 2015, countries signed the Paris Agreement. They agreed to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius. So it's time to take stock, to see how well or how bad the world is doing. Spoiler alert, we are doing bad. At the current rate, global emissions will fall 2% by 2030. But to hit the Paris target, they should fall by 43%. So the world is a long way off.
You can log on to both First Post and News18.com to know more about what is the negotiation that's going on as far as climate is concerned. I'm slipping into a quick break.